In what set up to be a massive quad one opportunity on Tuesday night for NC State, the Wolfpack are riding the Wolfpack Express.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, NC State Wolfpack fans? What's up, Wolfpack Nation? It's time to get locked in with Locked On. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network, your team every day. Our Tuesday evening / Wednesday post-game live show is brought to you by FanDuel. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. The Super Bowl is coming up on Sunday, and if you're a new customer, bet just $5 and you'll get $200 back in bonus bets, guaranteed if that first $5 bet wins. Head on over to FanDuel in order to get started. FanDuel, play your game. As always, I am Grayson Boone, joined by former Wolfpack defensive tackle Kenton Gibbs. 84-83, the NC State Wolfpack pick up another quad one win on the road over the SMU Mustangs. My goodness, what a basketball game we were treated to on a Tuesday night. This had a postseason feel to it, elite shot making back and forth. I thought SMU did an excellent job of actually hanging with us, because for a hot second there, I thought we were going to run away with that and hide there in the second half. But just a high-level basketball game, and something that is true to my core, and I think I speak for a lot of us right now. That's a game that NC State in the last 20, 25-plus years, we have not been winning. It's certainly not many of them, if at all. And this is what happens when you bring Will Wade to NC State. This is what happens when you reignite the passion behind this program. This is what happens when you invest back into this program. You bring a high-level staff, you get high-level players, and you have a winning attitude. What's that we call, Kenton? Winning all of a sudden? Black hat energy? That's a black hat win on the road. What a damn game for the NC State Wolfpack.
I mean, what more can you say about this team than resilience? And I think that this game is a really good way to describe the season so far, and that the first half didn't exactly go the way that you wanted, didn't exactly go the way that you expected. But you come out in the second half, you make adjustments, and that's how you win ball games. That's what good teams do, okay? So what do I mean by that, right? You come out in the first half, and I talked all this trash about SMU doesn't shuffle the puppies. They don't shuffle the puppies. They can't stay in front of nobody. And then what happened? They get held to 34 points, or we get held to 34 points in the first half. And then the other part of it was, obviously the Darian Williams no-show in big game allegations. He was staring down the barrel of that thing again. He was staring down the barrel of it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the thing came clean. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, you sit here and you say, well, man, are we seeing the same things that we always see? Is this a nothing changes type of moment? But slowly but surely, he gets cooking. He gets going. And when he caught fire in that second half, he just didn't stop. I think the biggest thing for me that I look at and I say, this is why this is Wolfpack basketball, because we were able to do what we wanted. We were able to slow it down and play at our pace. SMU's whole game is speed it up, run and gun, speed you up. They've got 4 senior guards, and some of those wings as well. They've been playing basketball for a very long time, college basketball for a very long time. They want to have it be up and down, a track meet on hardwood. That's what they want to see, right? In the second half, we were able to have multiple points. I saw multiple guys doing the hand-up signal. Slow it down. Let's be composed. And ultimately, there was a moment where I believe we went on like a 10-0 run or something like that, or it might have been even bigger than that.
It was bigger.
Where what all it was a couple shots in there that were in the first 10 to 15 seconds of the shot clock. But for the most part, it was methodical. It was I'll pass up a good shot because this is SMU's defense. A great shot will come. A great shot will come. And they did. They came time and time and time again. And a lot of them came with Quader Copeland finding guys, taking those small little guards. Hey, they may be quick. They may be hard to stay in front of defensively. But you know what else those small little guards are? When he gets them to the paint, oh, them short ribs. Yeah, them braised oxtails. Yeah, that's rice with a little bit of gravy on it. Yeah, that's that good cornbread right there. The type you put agave over the top. It's all that going on. And when he got him down in that paint, you got a double. Now he kicks it out to one of our bona fide shooters who in the second half, it felt like we could not miss. The second half, the rim looked as wide as the ocean. I mean, boy, they ain't seen shooters like that in Dallas in quite some time. And I'm talking about even in Oak Cliff, okay? If you know, you know. So in all seriousness, this was a game where, ultimately we had a lot of guys show up. We had a lot of guys step up. And in the second half, I mean, you talk about a tale of two halves, a tale of two cities. Boy,
man,
Mr. Matthew Abel, come on down. Come on down. First half, absolutely abysmal. Was a net negative in a lot of ways. 1 of 5 from the field, 0 of 4 from deep. Do you know what he did in the second half, Grayson?
He finished with 13 points, didn't he?
4 of 4, 2 of 2 from deep.
Crazy.
He may be young, but he's ready. He's ready for the big moment. He's not shying away from and this was a game that, Grayson tweeted that this had a tournament feel to it.
Yeah.
But let's be really honest about what this game was. This game was, in essence, an elimination game for the double bye. That's what this was.
Could be.
If SMU wins this game, it puts them in the driver's seat for getting one of those double byes because I don't believe we see them again. So if they were to have a good finish, they get the tiebreak over us. But instead, this puts us even more firmly in that driver's seat to be where we need to be to secure that fourth spot, which would be fourth spot or higher, which would get us the double bye. That intensity was there. The effort was there. Guys were diving all over the place with loose balls, particularly some SMU guys diving into legs very loosely. I'm glad that nobody was seriously injured, but it was a hell of a game, man, from start to finish. There were times where it got dicey down the stretch. There were times where we started off trying to play their game and all that. When we settled down and played our game, it was clear Wolfpack basketball was just better.
I have Packing with Gary here at the bottom of the screen. Shout out to Gary. I love his channel. Does a lot of great work over there. We need to be excited about a game like this. This is a really big win, y'all. Like, really big win. It's a quad one win. It helps the resume. Yeah. But the momentum that you can build off the top of this thing. We're coming back home this coming Saturday against Virginia Tech. Go out and blow them out next. Keep this thing rolling. Like, these are the types of nights. These are the types of games. These are the types of wins that really snowball you forward into the postseason success that you're trying to get. What was that Will Wade was saying about what was that, a reckoning? Was that what he said? A reckoning? Sure feels a lot like a reckoning tonight, doesn't it? This is what we've been waiting for, y'all. These are the types of games that we have been anticipating Will Wade would bring to us. And by God, if he didn't do it tonight. 84-83 on the road. You talked about that run there in that second half. Not 10-0. It was 20-4. We had an avalanche on him at one point. Matt Abel's hitting threes. Paul McNeil is coming back into the game with foul trouble and hitting threes. Darian Williams is hitting threes. 6 of those, to be exact. He shot 50% from downtown tonight. What's that? The apologies. They're not loud enough for me. I saw a bunch of junk talked about Darian Williams for the last month plus. He's put together back-to-back 20-plus point games. Let the apologies be as loud as that disrespect was. This is why we brought him here to NC State. Again, I still need to know who his friend was that gave him a call and called him soft, because since then, he's been a man possessed. This is the player that we expected him to be. He was dominant tonight. 8 of 18 from the floor, 6 of 12 from downtown, 25 points, 3 of 4 at the foul line. I think the foul line is really my only major complaint for us tonight, so I won't harp too crazy on that. Quadir Copeland, he might have played his best game of the entire season. He only had 7 points, but look a couple columns there to the right. 10 boards, 16 assists. That's a double-double the hard way. That is a junkyard dog like you could only imagine a junkyard dog would look like. Getting into the crowd a little bit, getting under the skin of the SMU players. The flagrant in the first half was garbage, and he didn't let that affect him the rest of the night. That's leadership, especially on the road, especially against a tournament team like SMU is. Oh, my God. I'm so proud of the way that Quadir Copeland represented NC State tonight. One hell of a game. I got to get into an ad read. I'm fired up. Y'all should be too. That's a gigantic quad 1 win on the road. Quick ad read, and then we got much more to celebrate here later on a Tuesday night. Stick with us.
I'm Kalia Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. Number 1 ranked UConn dominated Tennessee 96-66, turning a halftime tie into a historic win and avenging last season's loss by delivering the largest margin in the rivalry's history. AZ Fudd had 27 points and Sarah Strong added 26 as the Huskies remain perfect on the season, reminding everyone why they are the reigning national champions. In the Big Ten, number 2 UCLA rolled past number 8 Iowa 88-65, powered by 22 points from Angela Dukeledge and a huge advantage in the paint, staking their claim as a national threat. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
And there was more to the NC State Wolfpack tonight. 84-83 on the road over SMU. Told you about Darian. Told you about Quadir Copeland. Venal Lubin had a little bit of a difficult night there in the paint. He finished with 11 and 7. Defensively got lost a couple times. Did his best to stick in front of a 7'2" center there for SMU. Not a fan of his. Yukitoglu, I believe it's pronounced. Sloppy basketball for him. Just flagrant, pun intended, flagrantly looking for fouls, whining about everything, just soft basketball. And I was proud of the way that Val kind of stood his ground there for much of that game. Matt Abel, we've already talked a little bit about Matt Abel, 13 points, 5 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 6, with 2 of those three-pointers being humongous three-pointers there in that second half. The tale of 2 halves for Matt Abel, the floor that he can raise for this team. That's why Kenton named him his X Factor before the season began. A night like tonight shows you exactly why he can help to do that.
Absolutely. And another guy, I mean, your X Factor, Grayson, Terrence Arsenal.
TA.
He did by far what was the best job of defending Boopy because, I mean, the young man is lightning quick. His first step, it's scary. It's scary. And not only his first step, but the way in which he decelerates and hits that little stop and pop mid-range jumper, man, you could see why he's so, menacing the defenses and whatnot. And ultimately, the irony or the beauty of a game like this, where everybody's making every shot, everything that everybody puts up is going down, and it comes down to getting one last stop. And of all the guys to get the stop, the guy that I would say has been the most traffic cone-ish out of all of our guards, with all due respect to the young man, Trey Holloman, found a way to come up with the stop on Boopy. When's the last time that we were 6-0 on the road in the ACC play? You know what I'm
sure Chaz now probably already has it, but I do not know off the top of my head. I say all that to say a long time is the answer.
It's been quite a long time. And ultimately, people talking about, oh, we wouldn't have won this game in the past. Of course we wouldn't have won this game in the past for a multitude of reasons. Number one, when you get down that half, how many teams have we seen? How many Wolfpack teams have we seen that would actually fight back? When we fought back and then we go ahead and take the lead, but then they fight back once after it looks like we're going to bury them. How many teams at that point would have given it up? And then the most impressive thing about the Quadir Copeland performance. To me, it wasn't the 16 assists. It wasn't the 0 turnovers to the 16 assists. He led all players in rebounds. Not a single player on the court had more rebounds than him. There was a 7-footer on the court, and he had the most rebounds. Yeah, that's a dude, man. That's a dude. That's a guy that, this is what Will Wade was talking about in terms of being tough. When he tells guys, you ain't tough. This is what tough looks like. To get a terrible flagrant and to not then just lose your wits and all of a sudden I'm discombobulated. I don't know how to do. I'm going to play out of control. I'm going to do whatever. He didn't do that. Instead, Quadir Copeland said, all right, you want to call that call? I'm going to play my game. The whistles may not go our way because the same guy that we got a technical for rooting out elbowed Abube in the face and then got a soft push in the back slightly after that. So again, this is why I say as Wolfpackers, we shouldn't complain about the refs because it's just part of the deal, okay? It's the Raleigh tax. If you wear red and white of NC State, it ain't going to go your way. But for him to continue to stay composed, for him to continue to stay within himself, for Quadir Copeland to continue to say, I'm going to attack the board with physicality. To hell with the soft calls. I'm going to attack the boards with physicality, with some want to, with expectancy that I'm going to get that ball when it's up in the air. It means something special, man. It means something special. To have I've said this about Q during the game. He's a junkyard dog, but he's our junkyard dog. 16 assists. No turnover. It is the most Quadir Copeland thing you could possibly imagine to have the ball as much as he did, get a double-double, and finish with, 7 points?
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's Quadir Copeland to the T. This was a full team effort, and that's why I'm glad in the post-game interview, all of the guys who played rare, all of the guys who played big minutes were all together for the post-game interview. Even though Quadir Copeland was the star of the show, everybody starred in their roles. Darian starred as, hey, you got to score, brother. You got to do your thing. You got to pick and pop. We're going to give you the ball and make something shake on this here left elbow. Let's work it out. He did so. Matt Abel, hey, you young, but you ain't a freshman no more. You got to do something. You got to bring it now, brother. You got to bring it if you're going to be on this court. He did so. TA, we need defenders on the perimeter. They will shoot us out the gym if you let them. TA just nods and does his job. Van Allen Lubin, undersized, going up against a guy that's got him in height by 5 inches. I mean, there were moments where I was like, all right, what's going on? But he showed up as well. So ultimately, this was a hell of a game, man. This was a hell of a game. I could go on for forever about how special this game was, but I'm going to pass it back to you, Grayson, because there was not a single guy who played big minutes tonight. P2 with the terrible calls on him, and when he came in, he just, hey, don't worry about it. Get it out the net. What a game. What a way to show up.
Yeah, there was a comment from Jonathan Gatlin about the coaching in the second half from Will Wade, and this one on the screen again. We got Gary up here twice. Recruiting winners is a very good approach. Something we talked about in the offseason when Will Wade was assembling his roster is the type of player that he was targeting. Talk about Trey Holloman, who has vast amounts of experience at Michigan State. Darian Williams, vast amounts of experience in March Madness with Texas Tech. Van Allen Lubin, been around the world, seen it all twice, and played a little basketball along the way. The steadiness that he's brought to this team. Terrence Arsenault was off of a national championship runner-up team. Yes. That's one of the most physical teams in college basketball with Houston. There is a certain mindset that Will Wade was looking for his players, and that mindset, that mental toughness, that no matter what, you will not get too high, you will not get too low. You might be down at 8 at halftime. Well, guess what? They got to play us again in the second half. You cannot shake this team no matter what circumstances that you're throwing at them right now. And that is what we are looking for when you talk about the toughness, the tenacity, and the culture that's been lost for so many years of NC State basketball. That's what it used to feel like way back in the 70s and 80s. And I wasn't there, but that's what I've heard that it felt like. And so the mission that it looked like they were on in that second half, outscoring them, what was it, 50-41 in that second half after coming into halftime down 8 points. what else is there to say about the way this team does not give up the fight? It's just, this is why you trust in Will Wade. You give him the reins, you give him the resources, and you just tell him to make it happen. This is what we've been waiting for at NC State. I don't think I could possibly hammer that home enough. And to shoot 44% from three on the road, another game of 16+ threes made. We just read you that stat yesterday from Pack Insider. I think it's now 6 times in 23 games we've played this season. And it had only happened, 6 times in the last 1,300 games in our history. Will Wade is actively in front of your 2 eyeballs, rewriting what is possible at NC State. You're witnessing it happening. So make sure you're taking that into account, despite all the criticism that was thrown at this team, right or wrong, the last couple months. They are on the right track right now, and they're rolling at the highest clip at potentially the right time. You want to talk about a team getting hot? I'd say February is a perfect time to start doing that.
Grayson, I figured it out. I cracked the code. I was trying to figure out, why are we so good on the road, but we struggle at home? Hear me out. Will Wade said there would be a red reckoning. Basketball is one of the only sports where the away team,
I see it.
Away team does not wear white. So, ipso facto, because the away team is wearing red, that's the red reckoning. But no, in all seriousness, this was a phenomenal game. And by the way, I know that this is Locked On Wolfpack, and I know that I'm with Grayson Boone instead of Grayson Singleton, the host of Locked On SMU. By the way, he does a fantastic job over there. Tip your caps to SMU. They played a hell of a game.
They're a good team.
They played a hell of a game. The shots that they were hitting, and this is what I mean when I say there were times this season where we're giving up wide open looks, and I'm like, it's you can't. How do we live with that shot, right?
Yeah.
Tonight, what I saw, and especially in that second half, a lot of those shots that SMU hit, you cannot name 20 offenses in America that have a Jerron Pierre Jr., how he was playing tonight. I mean, double step back, contested. That's the shot you want an offense to take.
He was hooping.
That if there's a shot that you say, hey, that's it. If there's something that like, hey, I'm not going to give away anything to the offense but this, that's the shot you want to take. We had multiple possessions where as fast as SMU wants to run, we had them down to the last couple seconds of the shot clock, and they whip out some amazing contested three. This is it. This is it. So ultimately, SMU played a hell of a game tonight, and this is not a game that traditionally this is a game that we would have been saying, we came close, the shot makers just too much. When they got a guy that's playing like that and Boopy, you live with it. You live with it.
Yeah.
But we got shot makers of our own now. Now, we got multiple shot makers of our own. And more importantly, we got multiple guys that can handle the ball. No shade to anybody. But last year, we talked about the fact that there was no true point guard. There was no true, I'm setting up to play. I'm going to get this thing going. Tonight, we had 16 assists, no turnovers. Tonight, even outside, and this is how crazy this is when you really get into what this NC State team did in this game. When you look at what happened tonight, even if you take away the amazing results from Quadir Copeland, right? Even if you just look at the rest of the team, you are not looking at a situation where we had a bunch of terrible, reckless turnovers. Most of our turnovers on this game were things like traveling or other moving. I believe there was 1 or 2 moving screens or something like that called. Most of these turnovers were not turnovers where it's like we're being loose with the ball. They're going the other way for an easy 2 or a transition 3 or something along those lines. This is what I want to see. This is the stuff. And again, when they're coming out, bringing big energy, diving on the ball, doing all the extras, trying to step in our huddle and pushing and all that, I'm glad we got it. I'm not glad we got a call. That should have been a tech on SMU, but I'm glad our guys didn't back down. I'm glad our guys did not back down when that happened. And ultimately, again, this was a game everybody wanted. Everybody's diving on loose balls. Everybody's fighting for it. and we didn't back up. We didn't flinch. We stared down the precipice of a embarrassing loss. An embarrassing, damn, we should have had this. And our guys didn't flinch. Was it perfect? No. But it was against a very good team on the road, and you get a win like tonight, I'll take it every time. I'll take that every day and twice on Sunday.
And twice on Sunday. That's right. There were so many moments in this game where you very easily could have cracked. I think SMU went up, I think it was 11 or 14 points there in the first half, kind of shrank that down. We got back into halftime. There's a couple runs put on by SMU's Jaron Pierre where I thought, this might get out of hand here pretty quick. But, Trey Holloman hit a couple massive threes there in the second half. We talked about Matt Abel, Darian Williams, Paul McNeil contributed. The fight and the resilience of this team is something special. And we're still, believe it or not, we might only still be scratching the surface.
I agree.
In this game, I don't even think we played an A game. I wouldn't even give us like an A- game. Probably like a B to B plus.
I'd say B plus. I'd say it's a B plus game. Yeah.
And you leave with a quad 1 win on the road. That is absolutely spectacular. I'm catching up with the Matt Chasnow tweets here. That's the first first 5-game ACC win streak since 2020, the 2021 season. Wow. It's been 5 to 6 years since you've seen ACC success like this. 8-2 now in conference, where I believe we're still tied with UVA for third overall in those conference standings. We will come back home on Saturday to face the BT Hokies inside the Lenovo Center. I know we're playing good on the road right now, but we got to turn up for Will Wade and the gang here in the Lenovo Center. We better sell that thing out. We better make the studs shake in that building come noontime on Saturday. But one heck of a win tonight. Really, really cannot say enough about it. Well, actually, I'm going to try to after another quick ad break from our sponsors. Stick with us. Our second ad read here on Tuesday evening, it's also our Wednesday show, is brought to you by FanDuel. It's one last call for football on FanDuel, one final Sunday, one final kickoff, the last chance to get in on the action before the NFL season comes to a close. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel's making sure you're right in the middle of the action with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, this is the game that everyone's been waiting for. This is where the predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger. It's the perfect way to cap off the season and make the Super Bowl even more exciting from kickoff to final whistle. If you're a new customer on FanDuel, all you have to do is bet just $5. And if that first $5 bet wins, you'll get $200 back in bonus bets guaranteed. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, football is over for the season. One last call for football on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com in order to get started. All right, last couple minutes here. Tuesday evening, we're way past midnight now. We got over 340 of y'all still in here with us. That is insane. But like I said, if you're a fan of the NC State Wolfpack, these are the games that we have spent like literal decades waiting to experience. Get excited for this. The American Gangster has brought us to an 8-2 record in ACC play in our first 10, and we still got work to do. But man, what a win here on Tuesday night, 84-83. You talk about the momentum. Well, I talked about the momentum here. You do come back home on Saturday. You got to play Virginia Tech. Got to bring up the rest of the schedule here. I'm on the wrong year. Where'd I go? Sorry. You do play Virginia Tech on Saturday. You go on the road against Louisville. We're playing well on the road. That might be the toughest test on the road we've seen so far at that point. You come back and play Miami. You got a couple big-time road games coming up here. Can you replicate what you've done on the road back here at home? Or sorry, yeah, big-time home games, what I meant to say. 84-83 over SMU. I'm still in shock here. I apologize, but just the overall performance, the grit, the leadership from Darian, the leadership from Quadir, the cool, calm, and collectiveness from Will Wade, which is not exactly something you could say all the time as animated he likes to get, but just a team win. I cannot hammer that home enough. A team win. One of my favorite Kentonisms is not everyone has to be a star in their, not everybody has to be a star, but you have to star in your role. And something I think that's kind of occurred since that loss to Georgia Tech, there's been more buy-in. And that was one of our biggest criticisms when things were not looking so hot. When you're coming into the beginning of ACC play, you lose to Virginia. It's like, we might be in a tough spot here. But since then, it feels like there's been more buy-in. You're looking at guys like Terrence Arsenault, who's coming off the bench, but being a defensive clamp mechanism. He's giving you some offense as well. The rebounding from TA has also been very, very clutch. You talk about Matt Abel, the young kid, 5-star freshman, starting to prove himself. The game might be starting to slow down a little bit for him. Rough start in the first half, dominant finish in the second half, finished with 13. We needed every single one of those, especially because you win by 1 point. Paul McNeil, we didn't see a ton of him tonight, but when you did see him, 2 massive, and I mean massive, colossal 3-point buckets there in that second half. Team win. Big one here tonight.
I really want to point out something here, okay? Last year, this was an actual phrase said by our head coach.
Oh, God.
Well, things aren't great right now, but these guys know what to do in March. That was an actual thing said by our head coach. And that again, this ain't to shade anybody. This ain't to disrespect anybody. And now we've got Will Wade coming in saying, oh, no, this ain't good enough. Oh, no, we're just barely scratching the surface. Oh, yeah, we won, but we got some things we need to tighten up. I'm telling you, man, he's done miracles on me. He's done miracles on Wolfpack Nation. Because what? We get a Final Four run, and then, last year was what it was. And then Will Wade, this feels so different. Mike Jones said Grayson doesn't know what to do with it. Said none of Wolfpack Nation knows what to do with our hands right now. None of us know. None of us. What is this? What is this feeling of expecting to win? And here's a true story. Okay? Will Wade said, I want people to be proud to wear their state gear around and all that. I was wearing my Letterman jacket to the food line that's by my crib, and a lady said to me, oh, that's a really nice jacket. I'll tell you what, isn't that team something this year?
Man,
that's an actual interaction that I had outside of a food line, okay?
That's real.
This is what Will Wade was talking about. And if I'm Will Wade, I'm wearing red for the rest of the year because these guys know when that red comes on, the reckoning comes out because they're playing like an entirely different team on the road, and I need to see that. I need to see this team 24/7. I need to see this team every game. This team that's diving on every loose ball. This team that's hitting all. I mean, it's. I've never had as many moments where I'm just like, this is what high-level basketball should feel like.
Yeah,
as I have this season, as I have during this winning streak. And I'm going to pass it back to you, Grayson. But didn't we say after the Clemson game, hey, this might be the breaking of that seal that Will Wade was talking about. We're right there, and this is the game we needed. And quick question, Grayson, what's our record since playing Clemson?
Lost only once, right? Or no?
No, we haven't lost.
That was after the GT loss. Yeah, undefeated.
Yeah, we're undefeated. It took beating a team that was undefeated in conference. It took building on it, being so close, saying, damn, we played another good team really close. It took that to get to this. It took those losses to get to where we are, where it's like, okay, things are going our way, but this team's resilient. They're going to fight. They're going to battle. They're going to scrape. They're going to claw. They're not going to leave a single scrap on the plate. And here's the interesting thing about it. They're going to need it because coming down the stretch, NC State has the second highest strength of schedule.
Saw that.
In the ACC.
Yep.
The only team that got it worse than us is the Dirty Foot Club. Couldn't happen to a better program. But we are the second toughest schedule coming down the stretch. It's be sure to wear your slobber gear to the slobber up on Saturday.
That's right.
And, Grayson and I will be in attendance, and I'm, in fact, going to get some gear. Grayson sent me the address to where to pick up some slobber wolf gear in my size. So y'all will see us there. We will be live and direct in person for this Saturday's game.
Yeah, and look, there's no awards handed out in the beginning of February. We haven't won anything yet. There's no championships on the line quite yet. But stacking a game like this one, it helps you push yourself in the right direction. And, Kenton talked about the Food Lion lady and being proud to wear your red tomorrow, like I sure as hell will be at work on Wednesday. These are the types of moments that I've been really craving for so long. And I knew when Will Wade said that in the opening presser that he truly meant it. There was going to be a changing of mindset for NC State fans that this high-level basketball play is going to come in, and all of a sudden you're going to feel inside of the Raleigh community how proud we are again as a fan base. And it's been dormant. It's been really dormant. We all know this for so long. But it's just little moments like tonight and Kenton bumping into the lady that talked about the Letterman jacket at Food Lion. That stuff is coming. It's coming back, and I promise you it will be a tangible thing. You'll be able to feel a red reckoning in the Raleigh community. And that stuff, man, that means something to me. That is some real special moments right there. So massive win for the NC State Wolfpack on Tuesday in Dallas, 84-83, quad one win on the road. You got to take each and every one of those things when you get an opportunity for that. The resume gets padded up a little bit better. I'd have to imagine with a win like that one, you might have jumped like an entire seed line. Not that it matters at this present moment, but again, it's something to keep an eye on. Firmly stepping in the right direction right now. A lot of work still to be done, but you got to take a moment and celebrate what they pulled off tonight. Not a game that we've won very many times, like I said, or at all in the last couple of decades. So cherish this one. Cherish it tomorrow on Wednesday. Let somebody know a little something at work if they're a fan of something else. Let them know what happened, especially if they're a fan of the DFC, because I think they went to Dallas not too long ago. How'd that go for them? Okay. Anyway, so great win for NC State, 84-83 over SMU. Celebrate this thing. We'll see you again on Thursday. Thank you all so much for joining us. Massive crowd with us tonight here, as it should be. Even after midnight, we got work tomorrow. We got school tomorrow. It don't matter. We got the NC State Wolfpack to celebrate. So mash that subscribe button. Drop your comments in the comment box. We'll see you back here on Thursday for more. And until then, go Pack.
Go Pack.